Okay, so the Kessel Run we were talking about, right, with the, going back and forth here. So we can omit the whole beginning, but I'll just start it out. I start here with the thrust, comes around this way, I come with an overhead, boom, that gets him right there. Now, this of course sets what happens next, which foot I have forward, which side his blade is on. It's on this side, so he's going to come around to the other side, which I'm going to then do this, right? So I come here now. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to go right from here. Okay, now I come in. 1, 2, 3. Now right here, you see, both of our sabers are high. Okay. Now when I go to chop him, all I have to do is step forward, turn it, boom, like that. If we just do starlight sweeps forward, and then you go to do it, 1, 2, 3. You see, I can take this step right here as my bracing step, which stops that, right? Now, I can decide what side it's on. Here it's this side, so when I step forward, I'm coming over to there, and that worked, right? I got in on it. So, if I'm over here like this, he's got to keep that in mind, and he knows I'm coming over to this side. Good. You see? And then on. So, there's the sarlacc sweep part. When I'm coming through, you see? It's this large arc, and this is why we train the arc. Just come forward. We got to go back and forth to stay on camera. You see, and then right there. Okay? That's if I want to start stepping forward with this to get a little bit more range on him. Right? Boom. And let's go back. 1, 2, 3. Okay? There I kind of waited for him. Right? So that's one way of doing it. You can switch your feet kind of at the time when we're going here. 1, 2, 3, like that. I can switch it. We'll just do it from the 3. 3. Now I'm on this side, so that when I come over to this side, I'm going that way. Now with the knee, making sure that your knee is constantly pointing towards your opponent is the important thing here. Kessel Run's completely straight. You're not necessarily going to do a whole lot of that when you do this in sparring and anything like that. When I come to this side over here, I want to step over to this side as I strike over to there. Okay? Same with this. Okay? Because that makes him work harder. Okay? Here, we're just getting the rhythm, going back and forth, learning how to change, and all that. So when you're doing like the form, or you're doing any of the accelerations here, like that. See, even Cho, we bring the handle up, and then we bring it down again. And that's the whole point, because sarlacc sweep is we're sweeping the saber from low to high, right? You can think of it simply as just going from, kind of like a low guard or a finishing position here. Once you get further on in the system, this becomes a trailing guard where you can start using it to bait people in, right? But if I take a strike here like this, and he sees that open and he comes in, I'll come up here like this, okay? That's, you see? Now, I don't have to worry about, I don't know what to do in this position, right? I do know what to do in this position, okay? So I can disengage. And then that's an important part. We are disengaging. We're not just winding. Okay, so you can do this, and later on you do this, kind of like this, right? Where the blade stays right out in front, and you just kind of wind around the other person's. But that's a little bit later. We'll get into that. Right now, we're just trying to match footwork to blade work, right? So, step or step. When he comes over, I'm either going to step with it that way, step with it that way, okay, again, here, or here, oops, here, right? Just those. And you can mix them up depending on what happens at the time, you know, where you are in that particular move or exchange with the other person, right? Let's say you do a lot more of this stuff when you're doing it kind of with no gear and all that kind of thing, because you just want, you need to let the other person know what's going on. That's why we call it flow dueling. We don't really, it's not really dueling to us, not really sparring, right? If we're here, and we're supposed to be using eyewear, so we're going to stay way far away from each other here. But you just, you say, ha ha ha, right? And you do it that way. But so when we're doing this here, we are practicing kind of disengaging, right? That way. Okay.